everyone. We're in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. This is MaryEllen. She is with Mystic Aquarium, and we're talking and celebrating World Oceans Day. So we're excited to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
So we're celebrating the ocean planet, and we're talking about horseshoe crabs. They are fascinating. You were just saying they've been around longer than dinosaurs.
Over 300 million years, and if you've ever been to a hospital, including when you were born, or ever gotten a vaccine, you can thank a horseshoe crab for keeping you safe.
What? Thank you, B82.
Yes, exactly.
That's her name. It's a girl. If you could pick her up again and kind of show the camera. How do we tell what the sex is of a horseshoe crab?
All right, so it's pretty easy with these guys. You're just going to flip them over, and they are completely harmless. So how brave are you?
Oh, I'm brave.
Excellent.
I like
so
this.
if you would like to put your finger in her claws.
Oh,
she cannot pinch you. If you would like to put your finger in her mouth.
I don't know if I want to do that. In the mouth?
In the mouth, right in there.
Oh, but that's not very nice.
No.
There you go. So she cannot bite you, and if you touch her telson or tail.
What's it called? A telson?
It's a telson.
A telson.
She cannot sting you. So she is completely harmless. So if you ever see a horseshoe crab and they're upside down, do not be afraid to pick them up.
And flip them over, right?
Exactly. So those first two claws, if they look like scissors, it's a female. And females can be up to 3 feet. So significantly from tip of their telson to the tip of the front. And then males will have it look like little boxing gloves. And he has those so he can grip onto the back of the female during breeding season, which is right now. This weekend is the perfect weekend to go out.
And make more horseshoe crabs.
Exactly.
So do we really want to encourage people to flip them up to see? Just as long as they put them back, right? Because you know how many little boys are out there going,
Yes.
Mom, I want to see if this is a boy horseshoe crab or a girl horseshoe crab.
Exactly, and I am all for exploring nature. So if you see a horseshoe crab and you are comfortable with holding that animal, I say make sure as long as you're safe with that animal, you're never going to pick it up by its tail, because once they're an adult, if that tail was to break off, they'd never be able to regrow it. So if they did get flipped upside down like this by a wave, a seagull, they're perfect for seagulls. I've actually seen a raccoon eating one as well. So
They look very meaty.
no. Here in the U.S. we don't eat them, but in other parts of the country, in other parts of the world, they do eat them. So you're just going to flip it over, hold it by its shell just like this, like to model for us. Perfect, and then just flip it right back over, head side down or leg side down, and then it can head back right into the water.
Do they get dizzy if they're being held upside down for this long? I'm just kind of wondering what their balance is like over here.
No, she is all set upside down. You can see she's trying to flip herself over, but she can't unless she's completely covered in water. And I won't let her out for too long. These are called her book gills, and as long as they're kept wet, she can stay out of water for hours. And so sometimes you'll actually see these guys when they walk in the wrong direction in a salt marsh, and you think it's just a shell, and you pick it up and it comes to life. Just bring it to water, flip it over, just like that, and put it right back in the water.
That is
the way it goes.
So fascinating to me. Tell me how because it's the time, they shed their shell, you were saying. Tell me how they do that, because I was asking, so if you see just shells on the beach, does that mean they died? Does that mean they got out of their shell and got a bigger one? Like, how does that work?
All right, so this is called an arthropod. So arthropods are everything from your spiders to your cockroaches to your crabs to your lobsters. And all of those animals molt as they get bigger. What's different about our horseshoe crab is it stops molting once it's an adult. So you might go to the beach and see ones this size or even a little smaller, and what you're looking for to tell it's a molt, and this is kind of the same with all of those guys, is they actually make a slit right in the front, and it'll break open, and they're going to walk right on out. So sometimes when you're at home, you'll see what looks like a dead spider, but it's really just its exoskeleton, which means that spider just got bigger. And then you have a slightly bigger spider walking around your house.
I like to think of it in crab terms better.
Exactly, yes. Yeah. But you'll find the same thing with crabs as well. Sometimes you'll just see the empty exoskeletons.
That is amazing. I love the ocean.
Yeah.
So when does it matter how big they are? Does that depend on how old they are, or is it just like genetics?
Yeah, it's just kind of genetics. So she is definitely not full grown yet. So she would keep growing. Most of the females that we see are about 1.5 feet or to 2.5 feet. A 3-footer would be really large. So she would be what you would typically see as a male. And then that female is just going to be bringing those. She's going to be full of eggs. She has green eggs. So some places have workshops that are called Green Eggs and Ham. It's to go look for horseshoe crab eggs. And she's going to go up on the beach. She's going to kick and bury into the sand. And then she'll drag a male right on over those. And then in about 4 weeks, you have baby horseshoe crabs that look the exact same, but fit on the tip of your finger.
They're that small?
Yep, and then they go into the water and they hang out, we're not really sure where, into deeper water for about 7 to 9 years before they come back out as an adult.
What?
I know. So that's one of the things when we take people out for horseshoe crab walks, we do it because it helps to elevate the importance of horseshoe crabs, because we're not the only ones that use these animals. They have a really important ecological role, because there are some birds, like the red knot, who goes from Argentina and migrates all the way up to the Arctic Circle and only eats horseshoe crab eggs along the way. So if you don't have these guys, you don't have the fuel for so many other animals that are in that food chain, because unfortunately sometimes those adorable birds are eaten by foxes and so on and so on.
Yeah.
So they have a really important role. So when we take people out, we're counting them. And sometimes we're tagging them, and what's really cool is we found out that when we tag a horseshoe crab, a lot of the time when we find it a year or two later, it's from the same area. So that means once we lose our horseshoe crabs in this area, no new ones migrate in. So it's incredibly important.
Stay here.
So it's incredibly important for us to take care of the ones we have. So whether it's teaching people to flip them over and saving lives that way, or getting people to understand the role that they play and joining us in citizen science programs and walking 5 miles at night at the beach, these are all really important steps we can all take to help protect these animals.
That is fascinating. I can't believe that they live, and we don't really know where they live before they come out and become adults.
Exactly. They just go into deeper water. And so a lot of places are pairing it with habitat restoration.
Okay, so pairing up to habitat restoration to save the horseshoe crabs.
Exactly.
And so interesting that certain birds will only eat this kind of, I mean, that's, my mind is blown. And you think that just, it's a horseshoe crab that washes ashore on the beach and your dog rolls it in its dirty shell.
Yep.
So it's more than that, everyone.
I feel like that was a personal story. I feel like you had that happen to you
No, my
before.
dog hasn't, but she goes and sniffs them.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, no, absolutely. They're incredibly important. So I know that you've the penguins on, and I'm a big fan of penguins. I do love them. But my favorite animal at the aquarium is a horseshoe crab, because these guys are kind of understated, but they're amazing. They've been around 300 million years. They can't hurt you at all, and we need them to survive. They keep us safe.
Well, and the fact that we had vaccines that come from them. That's incredible. MaryEllen, I want to say thank you. And before we let you go, you guys have a new exhibit at the aquarium.
Yes.
I saw it. I was just there this weekend. It's amazing.
It is. And pretty soon these guys are going to be highlighted in there. So it's Weird and Wonderful. So it's an entire exhibit dedicated to animals with weird noses, weird faces, come from weird places. So giant deep sea isopods, those are my favorite. Or the Japanese spider crabs that can grow to be like 12 feet from arm to arm. So you can keep coming back every year to see how much more they grow.
They're going to keep growing?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Those, when I saw the spider crabs, I thought I'm going to have nightmares about these, but I didn't. So I was glad. They're amazing. The exhibit is beautifully done. It's absolutely incredible. So
they did an amazing
congratulations
job.
on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So how do people come join the Horseshoe Crab Walk?
All right, so if you visit our website, under events, we have our next Horseshoe Crab Walk, which is this Saturday from 6:30 to 9:30 at Bluff Point State Park in Groton, Connecticut.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been
you.
a blast. I've learned so much. I hope you've learned a lot as well. And celebrating World Oceans Day, and you can continue to keep the celebration going on June 10th if you want at Mystic Aquarium. They're keeping the celebration going all day long. And remember to flip those horseshoe crabs back over when you